This episode of the Jaking Off Show is brought to you by OG Shenron's Off the Tees vintage clothing. If you've ever been thrift store shopping, sometimes you'll find rare and unique items for a reasonable price. At Off the Tees vintage clothing, you can find rare items such as a Quiet Riot Christmas long sleeve t-shirt from 1984, extremely rare psychedelic t-shirt designs that you won't find anywhere else, and more. You can look at their whole catalog of clothes at depop.com/OG Shenron, where they also post new and rare finds daily. Go to depop.com/OG Shenron or click the link in the description. You might find something truly off the tees. Okay, let's put our phones on silent so we don't interrupt the program. Hello, it's another episode of the Jaking Off Show. I am your host, creator, producer, sound technician, camera op, set designer, craft services, Jake Bassey. I'm all the things. I'm all the things on this show. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes we don't. Sometimes my social anxiety prevents me from getting guests, but last week we had a wonderful guest. You should check out the last episode with Christy Bellich. Wonderful comedian, wonderful lady, and I gotta tell you, I didn't want this girl sleeping in her car at some gas station in the middle of nowhere, because that ain't me. That's not how we do stuff around here. So I was like, hey, you're road comic, she travels, she's coming all the way from Austin to go do a show here in Oklahoma City. And I'm like, hey, look, if you're trying to save some money on a hotel, I got a couch. I'll cook you breakfast, fuck that noise. You're not sleeping in your car. And the weather was a little tricky. So she was like, oh, hey, can I crash on your couch? And I was like, yeah, cool. And we handled that. She crashed on my couch and we caught up. We talked a lot. We did an episode of her podcast, the Firewolf podcast, with Christy Bellich and friends. You guys should check that out. The link's going to be in the description for that. But you know what, man? Just check out the last episode. You'll see it there. This was a woman who I'm not related to, that I'm not fucking, and is going to be at my house. So I was like, oh, okay. Now I have an excuse to do the dishes and clean the zit juice off of my mirror and clean the beard hairs out of my sink, because I'm thinking okay, I'm having a woman over, and I don't want my man stink mess to be around. I'm not the filthiest person in the world, but I'm not the cleanest either. And I was like, oh God, I'm gonna have a lady over. I better make sure the bathroom looks nice, because she's gonna use it and stuff like that. And there's nothing in there except for some Irish Spring and some shampoo. And, she brought her own stuff, and the bathroom smelled like a lady. So now I want to buy lotions and shit. So my bathroom doesn't smell like, me. And I realized that another person has brought their scent and their smell into the space. And then that scent went away. And now it's back to ew, man musk. Ugh. I was familiar with my own stink, and my shits are rancid and gross, and and hers are flowery and nice and all that. So she made my bathroom smell nice for a couple of days. But I really appreciated her time. I really appreciated her insight and her knowledge on the game of stand-up. She's been doing it a lot longer than me. And we did a couple of shows, not a couple of shows. We did a show, and we fucking killed it. We killed that show, and if you want to see that show, you can go to my Patreon and donate as little as $1 a month to see the game tape. That's right. There's game tape of my stand-up sets. It's, jokes that are new, jokes that are old, some mixed in between. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And you guys can see that for as little as $1 a month. We're not doing stand-up in a lot of places. I moved here because it's kind of open, and also family lives here. So my friends back home in LA, if you never got the chance to see me perform live before, donating to my Patreon is your chance to do that. And it's the best I can do. It's the best I can do. I don't even think I'm going to go back to LA. I don't think I'm going to, perform in LA until we're much later down the road. But I'm not here to discuss that right now with you guys. I'm here to discuss with you guys about something that is private and that I don't share with people a whole lot, and it's talking about it openly has made me learn more about my own mind and how that works. And it's the autism. I have autism, and it's like mild. It's not obvious, but I miss social cues, and I'm weird and all that. And like most people that are normal are weird, I guess. I don't know. But, I don't pick up on social cues very well. I say the wrong thing, things that don't make sense. I lie about stupid shit just to get attention. It's really dumb, and I flood intensely with too many thoughts at once a lot of times. So a lot of times I'll just freeze and sit in the corner and just like rock back and forth and like flail. I mean, I did that a lot more when I was a kid. The years and years and years of therapy has helped me, have somewhat of a social life. Not a lot of my friends actually know. I think the ones that knew but weren't sure but didn't want to talk about it because maybe like they knew it would make me uncomfortable, and it did. It's kind of like the reason why I moved out of my mom's place, because my mother brought it up in a conversation while we had friends over, and it pissed me off, and I stormed out and I left. Let's slow your roll a little bit, man. You're getting excited. Um, so this autism thing, this on the spectrum thing, it's made me think about how my head works. Like I said, it's there's a lot of flooding. There's just a lot going on in my brain all the time, and maintaining eye contact with people is physically exhausting. Doing this podcast and having guests sometimes helps combat that, because I let them talk. I'm here to listen, and that's a challenge too, because I don't listen a lot of the time. I'm not I'm there, I'm looking at you, but I'm thinking about my response to what you would be saying to me rather than actually listening and having an authentic reaction, because I'm trying to think of something funny, or I'm really more interested in what I have to say rather than listening to what the other person has to say. It's selfish. It's part of the thing, and the thing is being pushed back. Like I said, maintaining eye contact is a very difficult thing for me to do, and it's not because I hate people. I I'm not a misanthrope. I do enjoy the presence of people that are into the same like-minded stuff. Like I was talking to Christy when she got here. She got here at like 1:30 in the morning, and we were talking till like 4 in the morning, and it was like, oh, we have to go to sleep, and we were just talking about our demons, dealing with depression, and what is this journey that we're on? Why are we here and all that? Lots of like deep, profound conversations, and that's what I sometimes want this podcast to have. But really, come on, man, we're just dicking around. We're just having fun. But I had a really deep and profound conversation with her that lasted for a long, long, long time. I'm not going to cut into like the dirty laundry and stuff, but we like talked about things that bothered us. We talked about things that are challenging, and that she talked about like, oh, I'm a fraud, and like, no, you're not a fraud. It's just a confidence issue. I have that same issue, and I told her that I'm on the spectrum, and she was very understanding about that. For the longest time, people that have known me throughout my childhood, there was like a guy that hung around me in school, like a one-on-one, like I was a special needs kid. I didn't really need him. I mean, he was just there to keep me in check in case I said something stupid or did something stupid. I always had like eyes on me. So if I had eyes on me, I wouldn't fuck up. But if I was left unattended to my own devices, I would be, setting fires and getting into fights and causing all kinds of trouble. Those that know me a long time and know me well, they had a one-on-one, like kind of like a teacher's aide with me because I was a wild fucking kid. I would act out, and if that guy wasn't there, I would be a fucking crazy person. And we're still friends to this day. We still talk from time to time. But I was like that weird kid that just had some guy following me around. Like, is he your dad? Like, no, I don't know my father. What are you talking about? But it was like this. It was kind of like not a remedial. I wasn't in the special ed classes because I was too smart for that. But I was just a wild fucking kid, and the wildness kind of carried into adulthood. But I didn't have like a guy following me around, keeping me in check in college, because it was college. It was kind of like the first time I was like unsupervised, and I would say stupid shit to people that would alienate me from making any friends, and I was a socially awkward kid, and as I come to realize that, I just shut myself off and withdraw completely, and I'm just the recluse because I'm no longer, I have trust issues. I'm no longer invested into making friendships, being in relationships. It's a lot of work, and I'd rather just be focused on myself. It's selfish, but I would rather just be by myself because it's just not worth the trouble. Because people will. I've been deceived a lot. I've been heartbroken one too many times. I'm better off alone. And I know that sounds fucked up. And I'm not really alone because I've got family and I've got friends, and I have to like make new ones. And unfortunately, they're all stand-up comedians, and I have this this nervous energy around other people just because I don't want to let people in. I want to do the work on my own. I don't want another person, checking, making sure the levels are fine. And I want to have guests on the podcast. That's going to be a goal for going into 2021, is to just have more people on here and combat this fear that I have of being around people. Because I'm going to get my feelings hurt. I'm going to get deceived. I might work with someone one day and they're going to, fall short on a goal. And then, I feel like it's just up to me to do the work. And I'd honestly rather just do it all by myself. This podcast has grown exponentially in the year and a half or 2 years that it's started. And I'm very happy with the results so far. I want to have people on to talk about their stuff and, share an audience, grow an audience, and make this a thing. And that's going to take a long time, and it's harder for me to just do it because of my social anxiety. And, I go up on stage and I go up there and I'm controlling the energy in the room, and there's all eyes on me, and I can combat that by just being funny and just being just giving a whole giant overshare on all of my problems, and then I can just go away and go about my business and move on, because therapy's expensive. Therapy's very expensive, and comedy helps with that. And I don't want to be the autistic comedian, I don't want to be known as that. And I don't want to be really associated with that camp, because there are people that are more severe, that are like, yeah, that are like flappy and silly and all that. And I'm not that either. I'm this high functioning, tightrope, middle ground, weird guy. It's hard to describe, but I'm not that camp either, and I'm not in the normal person camp. I don't know what to call that. I'm my own camp. I'm the skinny kid at fat camp, if that makes sense. And there's this whole hashtag like autism speaks and representation, all that other bullshit. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm part of some fucking team that I don't want my growth to be associated with any particular group, because people will say, "Oh, you're brave and you're strong, or you're open about talking about this," and there's other people that don't have as easy as time to share their opinions and share their thoughts and all that. Like, "Oh, you're so brave." Like, I'm not that guy. And I don't want to also have my audience that are around people that are sensitive around the word retard, because I feel like that's my N word. I feel like I don't say it a lot in my act per se. It comes out like in passing, and there's people that deal with special needs folks that are very sensitive about the R word or whatever. And it's just like, what the fuck? Like, it's just a fucking word. It's context. Context. It's very important. And I'll say like, "Oh, I'm half a retard." I didn't get the Forrest Gump like tard strength, but I didn't get the endurance. But would I sacrifice my intelligence to have that? No. It's a bit in progress that I'm kind of working on, but it's complicated. I'd rather just overshare my bullshit, but maybe not go completely into the autistic angle, because of the energy that I bring is wild and crazy. If you've seen me on stage, I'm just like, I'm all over the place. And it's an outlet to just get the energy out. And I have to be clean to get that energy out too, because I'm so nervous. I'm fighting a panic attack and I'm just letting it all out. Weed calms that down, but I forget the thing. I forget what I'm saying. And, depending on what I'm smoking, the autism, like, it comes out, and I think everybody's a little bit retarded when they're high. But for me, it comes out in waves. And so I try just to not talk about it too much, because I also don't want that to be, I don't want that to be an excuse for when I'm being an asshole. Like, "Oh, I'm sorry that I'm being a jerk. I'm autistic." And that's going to be like, "Oh, he's autistic. Let him be." I don't want it to be that, because this is something that I'm fighting. I'm fighting this. And it's how would I describe it? Because it's up here, it's up in my brain. And it's just try to imagine that there's someone up here that it has repeating thoughts, not like a mantra, but just repeating what if scenarios of what if you just told someone just a really stupid lie just to engage in a conversation. And God, one time when I was a kid, I lied about my dog dying when I was in elementary school, just because I wanted the attention. And it was like, "Oh, we're sorry about your dog." I wanted the attention, but it was based on something that didn't happen. And there's like a pathos to that. I lied about, deaths in the family that weren't true. And it was just just to be like, just to have a attention on me, but it was false. And, and I've learned more about my own family, and that there's real bullshit trauma that is real and true. And, my mom avoided telling me that I had family in other places for a long time, just because, we're estranged, and that's dirty laundry. We don't have to go there. But, now that I have talked to extended family and their crazy redneck incest drama, it's not fun, but they're my blood, and it's also for the jokes. It's for the jokes, man, because my job per se is to observe and report and make fun of it. So, my jokes are personal to me, so that no one can steal them. Um, it's and I'm trying to like I'm always trying to come up with new stuff. You'll see it in the game tape if you're a patron, and thank you for that. But you'll see it in my stand up that I talk about my father. I talk about being a weird kid. I wasn't a leash kid. That's just that there's poetic license to some of the bits that I take liberties with the accuracy of some of the stories, but they're funny. These motherfuckers don't know me, because it's all about having a good time. But what I talk about is just not a good time, you know. And I've come to terms with that. And it's just this everlasting battle that, do I want to talk about something that I'm uncomfortable with? I was very uncomfortable with talking about, you know, my absent father for many years, and it made me angry. It made me drink heavily for many years, and I just didn't want to talk about it. My own brother doesn't talk about it. We don't talk about it, and my brother, he's stuck in this World of Warcraft world. He's just like zoned in on this other realm, and it's his escape. And like, I get that, but he's not going to grow and realize his potential if he doesn't talk about his problems. And I'm talking about my problems, and it's just helping me wake up to that. And I was on medication, man. I was on I was hyperactive. I was put on Ritalin. I was put into foster care for a couple of years just because I was crazy and my mom couldn't handle me. Not that she couldn't handle me. She was a single mom that raised two boys by herself, and all things considered, she did a pretty good job. But when I was a little kid, for from when I was like about 7 to 10, I was in foster care. And I was wild and out of control, and they tried to have me simmer down with this medication that kind of made it worse. I was like hyperactive and sedated at the same time, because I don't remember the medicine working. All it did was just keep me like rocking, because I was one of those not rocker, but I was one of those kids that would just be quiet and rock back and forth and flail. And I wouldn't. I played with toys in an unconventional way, like for example, like a toy car, a Hot Wheels car. Instead of grabbing the car and just sliding it across the ground, like having like little races and shit, I would just take the wheels and just spin them like the fidget spinners of today. It was like this sedation that I was under, that I was entertained by just a spinning wheel and just staring at it. And I had a Game Boy when I was a kid, and it was just like fucking Pokemon binders and like all this crazy kid shit in the 90s. And that kept me occupied, but it was like tunnel vision. I was obsessed with these things, and it distracted me. It distracted me from school. It distracted me from making friends and all that. And I was a bag of trail mix with way too many nuts in it, man. And and my mom got me out of it because I was in foster care with a guy who was a little touchy, and there was court, there was I was put into care of a possible child molester. There was not. Oh, we're opening up a real can of worms here. I was told about sex before, like the film that we all watched in fifth grade, and being naked in the house was okay. I wasn't penetrated or whatever. I wasn't really. I was mentally molested. I wasn't physically molested. I was really like, knowing about like porn and like perverted shit and sex toys, like when I wasn't supposed to. And it could have gone to that physical molestation abuse, but thank the gods it didn't go that way. My mom caught wind of it, and there was a whole court issue, and there was a whole like the social worker was like, "Did he touch you?" And some things were true, and like I said before, I would lie about shit. And my mom knew that I would lie about shit, and the guy didn't get convicted. He didn't get convicted because some of the things that I was saying were not true, but I didn't outright admit that openly. It was just, okay, get this kid out of here, get this guy out of here. I don't know what happened to him after that. All I know is that all I remember is that he wasn't convicted of pedophilia or whatever, and I got out of there. And I was back with my mom. And then 9/11 happened, and then it was all downhill from there. But this is a big can of worms that I'm saying out loud for the first time. I've talked about autism a little bit in pockets in previous episodes, but not like really into detail. God, I lied about family members being involved in various atrocities just to feel relevant, just to feel like I was part of the news cycle and all that. And it was just so dumb. Like, what was I thinking? I just wanted attention. And I think that attention seeking came from just the absent dad thing. My dad didn't want me. And he has a whole other fucking secret family and all that. He's got a whole other thing going on. And I was the secret family. He was with that whatever. But yeah, I wasn't wanted. I wanted to do stand up. I wanted to be in plays and do theater and all that. My mom didn't support it initially. She knew I was a good actor, but she didn't really help me pursue that in the real sense. Like, she didn't help me get an agent or anything like that. She just going yeah, cool, whatever makes you happy. I don't like it, but it makes you happy. Cool, do that. And I'm glad for that. She came around eventually. She still doesn't like me doing stand-up because I talk about the dirty laundry and the oversharing. She's probably going to listen to this episode and go, why are you talking about this? It's my therapy. This is my therapy. It's the same reason why girls have OnlyFans accounts. It's the same fucking thing. But I wanted attention, and I don't think I got enough of it. And I'm not blaming anybody. It is what it is. It all happened, and here we are today. Because if things had turned out differently, I wouldn't be the person that I am today, and I wouldn't be. I sometimes think about who would I be if I didn't have this thing. If my dad did raise me, if he was around, who would I be? What kind of person would I be? And, again, here we are thinking about, the stuff, the what ifs, just the waste of mental energy and all that. And it's not important because I'm not going in that direction. In college, there was an exercise that I did with the other classmates. And we all talked about, the worst thing that happened to us and the best thing that happened to us. That first part, the worst thing that happened to us, everybody seemed to talk about a loss, a death in the family, rape, molestation, things like that. I didn't share my real pain. I shared a lie that was not real because I didn't want to reveal my true pain to these fucking people that I don't like. I don't like being around them. They're all from everywhere else but LA. So they're forcing themselves to make friendships. And I'm like this kid going who all you fucking rich hipster motherfuckers that have rich families and shit like that. You come down here, you want to be a fucking star? Fuck you. Who the fuck are you? I had this whole misanthropic, I was just against everyone. I was against everyone. And everybody shared this personal, deep sorrow story. And, God, I don't even remember what I fucking lied about. I think I lied about a fucking death in the family because I was 13th or 14th because everybody was talking about someone dying. So I'm oh, I had an uncle, he died when I was a kid or whatever. So I just lied about it. And, I didn't want to show my true self. And when we were all done with that, we took a break. And for some stupid fucking reason, I called a guy out that talked about his dad dying when he was 8. And I told him, like, hey, you were the only one that didn't cry. And that was such a dick move on my part. I was 18. I was dumb. This was the first time that I wasn't supervised by, a fucking one-on-one teacher's aide person to say stop talking, shut up. You're here for this reason. Don't start shit or whatever. And that's there's a reason why I had a guy follow me around in middle school and high school. And people were asking questions like I was some fucking, but nobody I wasn't bullied outright, because at the same time it's oh, if we bully this kid, he might shoot up the school or something. Real school shooter vibes. I was into heavy metal. I wore black all the time. Everybody was aware of Columbine and Virginia Tech, at the time. So I had nobody fucked with the weird kid, because that was in the realm of possibility. It was never gonna go there, but I'm just saying. And I just stupidly called out just a dumb thing. And I knew for certain I had solidified my relationship with everyone in that class, and they all fucking hated me because I just called out just stupid bullshit. And I wasn't liked. And for a while, I was just fine with that, because I didn't want to make friends. I was here to work. I was here to pursue this BFA in acting and go to college and be an actor and study hard and all that. I was focused more on the work, not so much on the parties and the drinking. That came a little bit later when I kind of put my feet on the ground and went, hey, I'm a straight guy at an acting college. Let's cap on the pussy while I can. And that lasted, all throughout college, and I haven't been laid since. That's a lie. I've been laid a couple of times, but it's not something that I concentrate on, really. It's just, I was just this outlier, just this fucking weird asshole jerk person, I had acquaintances and stuff, and there's people that fucked with me and all that, but I really felt like an outsider, and still do to this day, because I don't discuss this matter with people. But if this resonates with anyone, anyone that wants to talk about either addictions or family trauma or things like that, I hope this reached anybody to be more open. I'm trying to be more open, so I can learn more about myself and try to be a better person and not be this shit teenager that I was. God, it was just such a bad time. We're starting to unravel just some blocked memories that I had that are now coming to light. I'm getting a little older now, and I can't keep this stuff blocked forever, because it bottles up and it's not good. And the day's gonna come when I finally snap, and I don't want that day to happen. So I might as well just pour this stuff out and be more open about it. The foster care that and everything that happened there, that's a new can of worms that I got to work on, and it's not good. But this isn't Barbara Walters, but the more I dig into my personal life, the more comedy I can possibly find and discuss. I found out that there's incest in my family on this side. It's weird. It's fucked up. It's not good. It's not good. It's very concerning, but I joke about it because that's how I get on about it. And there's this other new can of worms that I need to figure out how to make funny. This podcast, sometimes you come up with gold nuggets, and I'll write them down in the future. and it'll be a joke later. It'll be funny later. Like when something bad happens to me, I think about, oh man, this sucks now, but man, it's gonna be funny later. And here we are now, almost 20 years of being of not living with a pervert, and this is a little hard to get into, but I lived with a guy that wanted like a friends with benefits type of thing, but I was a child, and it didn't get that heavy. But there were naked pictures being taken, and there was the introduction of how sex toys work. No, I was not actually molested, but it was gonna get to that point, and I lied about it, because I didn't want to be there anymore. There was no definite proof, but that kind of shady stuff was going on, and it wasn't good, and I had to get out of there. And I'm glad I did, and maybe I'll find a funny angle on it later. I gotta write more about the autism, because like I said before, I don't want to be the autistic comic. I could just talk about being crazy, and then people will get the hint. But I'm not, I'm not full on A word, just a little bit, just like a sprinkle of it. And I don't know how it happened. According to my mom, I was diagnosed when I was like 2, I think. Some argue that it was a shot. Some argue that it was mercury in some sort of vaccination for mumps or whatever. I don't know enough about that whole thing, because now we're going into like a territory that I don't really know anything about. I'm not anti-vax family. I'm not vax family, especially with this COVID shit going on. I don't know where I fall on that. That's a whole other issue. Next week, I'll review this shit year that it's been, and it was nice venting to the 8 people that listen to this podcast. This isn't gonna change my life, but it's just another one for the books. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate your time. Once again, go to patreon.com/jakingoffshow. The link's in the description. Support the show. You get early access to the weekly rants that later get posted up on YouTube. You'll get access to my stand-up sets, and help me generate a little bit of passive income, because I don't want to work in restaurants anymore. I'm gonna be 30 in a couple of months, and this COVID shit's made me more focused on my content and all that, and I need to find a way to get this off the ground. And it's just like it's just another one for the books, man. It's just putting in the reps. It's just doing it and doing it and doing it until the fucking wheels fall off, because I don't really have a future. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. 2021 is coming soon, and don't pretend like it's gonna be a better year. Just open the door to 2021 slowly, and don't fucking touch anything. Just be cool, be calm, and hopefully China doesn't fucking blow us up. All right. Okay, thanks. Bye.